Hello all, it's James here, Dutch's co-host on the Storytime with Dutch Mantell podcast and YouTube channel. Now, this is a video I never wanted to make, and nobody wanted it to come to this, but I'm sad to say that Dutch needs your help. In fact, scratch that, Wayne Cowan, the man who performed as Dutch Mantell up and down America and across the world, as well as in WWE as Zeb Coulter, needs your help. For those who are new to this channel or unfamiliar with Dutch, I'll briefly explain that Dutch Mantell is a highly respected 50-year professional wrestling veteran, working not only as a wrestler but as a commentator, manager, and of course a booker as well, working with pretty much every single major wrestling promotion in that time frame, from WWE, WCW, and TNA to Memphis, Puerto Rico, and damn near every territory you can think of that wasn't at least too far of a drive away, like California, I guess. In 2015, Dutch broke his femur in two places in somewhat of a freak accident. He was just stretching and somehow he fell and broke his leg. So when he returned to WWE on a motorized scooter in the Alberto Del Rio managing days, that really wasn't a gimmick. He genuinely needed the scooter and still does. After almost dying from the surgery required to fix his leg, his mobility has been severely hampered to the point that in the past couple of years, getting around his own house unaided has been damn near impossible, and as a result, further health complications have arisen. In late 2023, Dutch was hospitalised due to sepsis and had to spend a month in hospital and a rehab facility. And now, once again, in the late summer, Dutch once again contracted a urinary tract infection. It's usually caused by a bladder or kidney infection, and then that infection in turn developed into urosepsis, which is a life-threatening medical emergency and proved to be so in Dutch's case. From there, Dutch then developed pneumonia and has once again had to endure another full month in various medical facilities and rehab facilities as well. All this while Hurricane Helena, or Helena, I can never remember the pronunciation, bear with me, and Milton ravaged the east coast of Florida, including the greater Tampa area, which is where Dutch and family live. The good news is that Dutch has started pulling through and has managed to finally return home. In fact, we are tentatively hoping to record a podcast this very Thursday where Dutch will further explain all the horrendous medical episodes he's had to endure, so as to give you all at least a fuller picture of the situation. That's where the good news ends. While Dutch has been suffering through yet another life-threatening bout of septicemia and pneumonia, his wife of over 50 years, Kathy, was suffering even worse. Since May, she has been hospitalised nearly a dozen times, and since May, she's also lost around 70 pounds as a result of incredibly serious issues, including sepsis, as well as, I believe, diverticulitis as well. So for all you wrestling fans, you'll know how, with examples of Brock Lesnar, Kenny Omega more recently, just how devastating a condition it can be for young, strong men in the prime of their lives, let alone an older woman in her mid-70s. This past week, she's had to have a bowel resectioning operation, which essentially saw surgeons cut out a large portion of a bowel out completely and then sew the remaining portions back together. Not only is this surgery, or was this surgery, very high risk, the recovery period is long, slow, and painful as well. Because Dutch and Kathy both require assistance, their daughter Amanda has had to take leave from work to look after them both full-time. And she's also at breaking point, as I'm sure you can imagine, and surviving on little sleep to make sure her parents are well looked after. All of this hardship has put enormous emotional and, because of the wonderful way the American healthcare system works, financial strain on the family. I'm sure a lot of you wrestling fans out there will remember Kevin Sullivan's family launching a GoFundMe a few months ago, shortly before he died. The reason was because Sullivan, who, keep in mind, had excellent health insurance, had still managed to max out all the days that the insurers would be willing to pay for, and had to dip into his own savings to continue the care he so desperately needed. I'm sorry to say that this is now the situation that Dutch and family have found themselves in, because Dutch and Kathy have, through no fault of their own, required extended hospital stays to keep them just alive. The Cowan family have rinsed not only the amount of days that and care that their insurance will afford them, but also they've had to raid their savings as well, to the point that there's almost nothing left. Amanda, the daughter, has had to give up work for the short term, and because Dutch and I haven't been able to record any new material for the YouTube channel, the AdSense revenue from the YouTube show has tanked as well, so there's almost no money going into the household. In full disclosure, I've been helping Dutch out financially with money that has still been coming in to the YouTube channel. And I've also donated to Dutch Mantell's official GoFundMe, which has been set up by his daughter Amanda. And I'm afraid this is where I must come to you, the subscriber, the viewer, and the fan of Dutch Mantell and professional wrestling in general, with a metaphorical cap in hand. I've got a cap on my head, but I'm not taking it off. I absolutely hate having to ask this, as does Dutch, because he's a proud man, but I hate the situation, as does he, that he finds himself in dire financial straits, even worse. Dutch's GoFundMe can be found at the link in the description of this video, as well as the pinned comment in the comment section as well. If you are a fan of Dutch, please consider giving whatever it is you can to help the man out. I'm not asking you to do anything. I wouldn't, of course. I'm no multimillionaire, I promise you. But I've put my money where my mouth is, and I've donated to the GoFundMe as well. I work every day, and I have my own family to provide for as well. But Dutch and I have grown to be, very good friends over this past few years, and I've got great respect for him as a person and as a performer. And it's quite frankly the least I can do. It's the least he deserves. If you're on the fence about donating, please keep in mind that we have never charged for these podcasts and YouTube videos that we provided. We have kept absolutely everything free for you guys to enjoy. And I know tens upon tens of thousands of you join us every single week for Storytime with Dutch Mantell, and many hundreds of thousands more tune into the YouTube channel to enjoy the clips as well. So if you don't want to or can't afford to, honestly, please don't worry. We hope you keep watching and enjoying the podcast. But for those of you who have the means and can spare a little bit of extra cash to help out a 50-year pro wrestling veteran who's entertained you with his stories every single day for these past few years on the channel, Dutch would be enormously appreciative, and so would I. If you could also go to your socials, and if you can't, please go to your socials and plug the GoFundMe. That would also be of huge help. Or Dutch has put on his Twitter a link to the GoFundMe as well. You can just share that if you would be so kind. And once again, it'd be hugely appreciated by the family and myself. Dutch and I are planning on doing a brand new show to be out for this coming Friday, so we hope to see you there for then. If not, if we don't get to record for whatever reason, it'll be health reasons, I'm sure, but if not, the podcast will be returning sooner rather than later. So thank you for listening to this pitch, and I hope, as well as does Dutch, to see you again real soon.